It was the Halloween of 2010. I was only 10 at the time. I was on the cusp of being too old for trick-or-treating, so I aimed to make the most of that night. My costume was of a cowboy. I'd learned from experience that the more detailed the costume, the more candy you get. I was going to hit every house that I could. I expected to get so much that I even brought one of those big black garbage bags to hold the candy in. I was going to make it a night to remember. It was, but not for the reasons I had hoped. I went alone because there were no other kids of my age going trick-or-treating. I knocked on each door and faced the same kind of questions.
Aren't you a little old for trick-or-treating? Oh, how cute! Never grow up.
Dumbass!
So, I got very disappointed. I was running out of houses, and all I got was a bag of jelly beans and 2 Snickers, not even a single big bar of chocolate. I was thinking about heading home when I saw this house at the other end of the street. It was the only house that had no Halloween decorations, not even a pumpkin on the porch. But the lights were on, so I thought to give my luck one last try. I walked to the house and knocked on the door. No one answered, so I knocked again. Coming! Whoever was inside sounded like he was in a bad mood. I once thought to run away, but his footsteps were so close that I didn't dare to move. I braced myself for something bad to come. The door creaked open and a bunch of fingers followed by a head peeked outside from the dark. It was a man, probably of my father's age. He stared me down and then said, "What do you want?" Trick or treat?
Huh. Wait here.
I was shocked not to receive judgment at my age. He quickly disappeared into the darkness of the house and then came back with a big chocolate bar. The wrapper was a greenish yellow in coloration, with unknown language written on it. But still, it was the biggest collection of my night, so I smiled.
Here you go.
Thank... The man didn't wait for my reply. Feeling a little weirded by his behavior, I waited on the porch for a few more seconds. I looked to my left and the man was standing near the window, staring into my eyes. I felt so scared seeing him watch me like this. It was as if he desperately wants me to leave, because if I don't leave, he might have to do something bad to me. When I still didn't move, he opened the window enough for me to hear his voice and said,
"Go home. My kid'll be back any minute. Go, now!"
Feeling a sudden jerk in my body, I started to run. I came back to my street and was panting in fear. Kids were still trick-or-treating. I sat down on the bench on the sidewalk to take a break. I was sweating in fear. A few moments later, when I finally calmed down, I shrugged off the encounter with that crazy man. I took out 1 Snicker and started chomping on it. I needed some energy badly. Once I was done, I got up and threw the wrapper in the dumpster at the corner when I saw that man again. He was standing on the other side of the road. His eyes were big and they were searching for me. Among all the running kids, he was trying to locate me. I didn't want to get seen by him, so I quickly turned my back to him and grabbed my candy bag from the bench. I started walking to my house, which was at the end of the street. Each time I looked back, I could see the man still searching for me. When I left the crowd of kids, I heard running footsteps behind me. I looked back in horror, and the man was coming towards me at full speed. Oh no, he found me. I started running too. I looked back the second time, and the man yelled,
"Stop! I won't hurt you! Stop!"
But I was in no plan to stop. I would have reached my house if 2 kids riding a bike didn't come out from the left side of the road. They made me trip and went past me. I fell on the floor. I cut my jaw and got bruises on my knees. I quickly turned around to see that man standing right next to me. He crouched down over my face and snatched the garbage bag from my hand. He emptied the bag on my face, with the big chocolate bar hitting me last on the face. He took the chocolate bar he gave me and said,
"This was for my son! You can't have it!"
Then, he took out a Snicker and threw it at me.
"Happy Halloween!"
He gave one last smile and walked away, leaving in trauma and shock for life. I didn't come out the next day, not even when I heard the cops. I saw it all in the news and later heard from my parents. The man who chased me and took back his candy turned out to be the murderer of his little son. He fed his son poisoned candy as a gift for his Halloween. The news showed the half-eaten candy lying on the kitchen floor where the cops found the poor kid's body. That was my last trick-or-treating. Trick or treat!
Hi, Jeremy. I didn't know you were going to be a dinosaur this year.
Do you like my costume?
Are you kidding? I love your costume. Say thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Robin.
You're most welcome. Now, let me get some candy for you. I'm going to give you the big bars because I love your Halloween costume the most. Don't give him too much candy.
No, I want the candies, Mom.
It's okay, Mrs. Donovan. After all, it's Halloween. Best time to spoil the kids a little. So what are your plans tonight? Attending any Halloween party? No, Mrs. Donovan. I think I'll just stay home tonight. Okay, have a safe night. Happy Halloween, Robin.
Happy Halloween!
Have fun, Jeremy, and don't eat your candy all at once. It might give you a tummy ache.
I won't.
Good night then. Good night, Mrs. Donovan. Be careful tonight. Don't open your door to strangers, okay? Don't worry, Mrs. Donovan. I'm a big girl. I think I can take care of myself. Of course you can. Hey, I'm back. I thought someone kidnapped you. Shut up. What? It's possible. Halloween is like the 4th of July for these creeps. Do you know how much the crime rate rises during this time? Oh, come on. Can we talk about something else? First Mrs. Donovan, and now you. Who's Mrs. Donovan? My neighbor. She was warning me to not open doors to strangers and all. Who's that? Remember to check through the eye hole first. Yeah, right, because Michael Myers is waiting for me on the other side of the door. You never know. Enough with your crap. I'll be back in a sec. What the? Holy smokes. Wait a second. Is that a man dressed in a baby costume?
Trick or treat! I know you're watching me. Time to give candies to a trick-or-treater.
Who are you?
What do you mean? I told you I came for the candies.
Yeah, but you look way past the age for trick-or-treating.
Are you blind? Don't you see I'm wearing a baby costume? Can I get my candies now?
Oh God, just because you're dressed as a baby on Halloween doesn't make you less of an old creep. Now get the hell away from my house.
You should have given me the candies like you were giving to the other kids.
Hello, Robin. What's taking so long? This man, dude. He was being so creepy. What man? I thought you were giving candies to kids. I expected to see a kid when the doorbell rang, but instead it was a grown-ass man dressed like a baby. Whoa, that's weird. Seems like the old dude just wanted to spook you. Told you Halloween is 4th of July for creeps. Yeah, no doubt. You didn't open the door, right? Of course not. Is he gone now? Well, I don't see him anymore. Good, just make sure to lock your windows too. Yeah, I think I should go to bed now. Just want this night to end. Fine, talk to you tomorrow then. Who's there? How did you get in?
You should have listened to your friend when she told you to lock the windows.
Please don't hurt me.
Trick or treat! Happy Halloween!
Nana Mildred is the reason I stopped celebrating Halloween. Chrissy Mildred, known to everyone as Nana Mildred, was the kindest, sweetest old lady in existence. She lived in a little green house at the top of the town surrounded by forest. There was a path that wound through the woods, all the way up to the hill to her driveway. I always felt somewhat unnerved being around Nana Mildred. Maybe it was the way she walked all hunched over, her arms bent at the elbows like a gorilla. She had gray hair that stuck out in all directions. She was so pale that I could see her veins under her wrinkled, dry skin. Her fingers seemed unnaturally long and thin. I remember the first time my mom took me to her. Her little green house smelled like lavender and mothballs, and the rooms were lined with photos of children. Some of the photos were in black and white or faded like they'd been taken many years ago. "Are these all your children, Nana Mildred?" She smiled and looked around the room.
These are all my lovely babies.
Afterward, as my mother and I walked down the path hand in hand, I told her how amazing I thought it was that one person could have so many children. She just laughed at me.
They aren't her kids. Nana Mildred never had children of her own. Those were photos of other orphan kids she used to house.
Why does she have photos of those kids?
Because she raised them all her life and they all went their way. Is it wrong to carry her memories through those kids' pictures?
Have you been to her orphanage?
No, it was in the city. She sold the place before moving here.
The rest of the way, we didn't say anything. The next day was Halloween, and it was my first year of going to trick-or-treating. My friend Spencer lived at the end of the street. Together, we planned to go to each house and collect as much candy as possible. When my dad dropped me off at his doorstep in my pirate costume, complete with an eye patch, black marker goatee, and stuffed parrot stuck to my shoulder, Spencer was already outside, sitting on the front porch. He was going as Thor. His fake long blonde hair was made out of his mother's old wig, which made him look pretty funny. And the expression on his face, I could tell he wasn't very happy with the outcome of the homemade costume. Hello, Elsa? Shut up, let's go. Once my father's car rolled out of sight, Spencer grabbed me by the arm and pulled me under this tree on the sidewalk. Listen, you have to help me pull something off. You mean your fake hair? Enough of your stupid jokes. Turner dared me to prank Nana Mildred. I got serious because Turner was our arch rival, and I never really liked Nana Mildred either, so I said, "What do you have in mind?" "I was thinking to sneak inside her house from the back door while you keep her busy, and then I'll mess up her bathroom." "What? You want me to talk to her while you do all that crazy stuff?" "Fine, I'll do it alone." Spencer started walking towards Nana Mildred's house. I saw him going up the winding road and never turning back at me. Not even once. Once he went away from my eyes, I realized I can't let him walk into this situation alone. My brotherly instinct kicked in, and I started running up the hill. When I reached the uphill road, I saw Turner going to the backside of her house from the garden. God, he's gonna get us both in trouble. I slowly walked up to her and hid behind this big tree right next to her house. I watched Nana Mildred from her window. She was standing in the living room, pretty still. There was a table in front of her. Suddenly, she picked up a pumpkin head and placed it on the table, but before I could make out what she was up to, Nana Mildred lifted her hand, and what looked like a screwdriver grasped tightly, and she started stabbing the pumpkin in random, fierce motions. I've never seen an old lady having such strong hands before. As I watched her silently behaving like a psycho, I got goosebumps. Suddenly, she turned her head at the back of the house and she paused. I felt my stomach dropped. Did she see Turner sneaking from the back door? Nana Mildred walked inside the house and I got more worried. I tiptoed to her porch and peeked in from the window. Ah! I backed away screaming. Nana Mildred moved away from the window and now I could hear her unlocking the main door. I was so struck down by fear that I forgot to run away. She opened the door and eyed me from top to bottom.
What do you want, kiddo? Do you want the candies?
No, I just came to wish you happy Halloween.
I see.
Suddenly, I saw Turner crawling on the floor. Thinking he has managed to sneak inside her house, I tried my best to distract the creepy old lady. Nana Mildred, does any of your kids come to see you this Halloween? Her face went sad and she said,
They've all forgotten about me.
We stood there, maintaining this award silence for 5 seconds, and then Nana Mildred's face changed. She had this evil smile.
But you know what? I haven't forgotten them. I remember each one of them.
Just then, my eyes went back to Turner, and I realized something was wrong with him. He wasn't moving anymore, just lay down on the floor like he had fallen asleep. Nana Mildred slowly turned her head towards Turner. There was no shock in her eyes upon seeing him. It was as if she already knew what will happen to someone if they tried to enter her house forcefully.
He will sleep like this for the entire night. Can you carry him home?
Nana Mildred opened the door and gestured for me to go in. I wanted to run away, but I couldn't leave my friend like that. I picked up, turned, and saw he was shot with a dart gun attached to the back door. Nana Mildred had set up a booby trap. After that night, we never went near her house. Turner woke up with a terrible headache and body pain the next morning. He never pranked anyone after that.